Right, so here we are in the 2020 Aston Martin V8 Vantage with David. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this journey. So the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, not the sort of 2006 one, but a bit more of a modern one. What made you go for this version of the car when you could have had like a Porsche 992? I suppose really for the money you could have bought a Ferrari, I suppose, but you went with the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I think it's one of them things, you know, when you just see a car you like, and you like. I've seen that. Obviously, I love all of the Aston Martin models, but when I seen this model, I really liked it, and I think it was a black model I saw. But when I saw the grey China grey, I was literally on YouTube, grey China grey Aston Martin, and watching as many videos as I could. So I had in my mind, like the spec that I liked, and basically when one become available,
add to cart.
That was it. Yeah.
Do you know what?
I didn't have a choice.
You know, the colour of this is, I really like this colour. I know when they sort of did the press releases, it was almost like a lime green. It was a bit like, everyone's a little bit garish. But I think this is definitely, it's subtle, but it has a really nice commanding presence. And it's something that we touched on with George, in that, like you say, it was more feeling than as opposed to logic, if that makes sense. How it makes you feel, how it looks, how it is on the road, and seeing it parked up outside the hotel. In that, like I say, the China grey is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I know we were talking before about the yellow stitching and why that's so perfect. So you know. So basically I sold my company, which was a company I had for 11 years, built it from scratch, and within the last year I've started up an investment company called 41Com. Right.
And the branding is black and yellow.
Oh, okay.
So when I saw the interior, obviously with the yellow stitching, the other thing I wanted was the Aston Martin badge in the seat, because you can get so many different varieties where some are just plain, the Aston Martin badge is the same colour as the seats. But when this was yellow and black, that was the sort of like,
that was the one. That's brilliant. That's a real nice personal touch as well, isn't it? I think, like you say, when you're buying a car of this caliber, having those little personal touches really kind of, as you say, you need to build a company up, you know, you do your bits and pieces, then you kind of see the fruits of your labour, if you will, and now you're seeing it in the reminder of the yellow stitching, you know, what you've come from, what you've done. I think that's really nice. What I will say is, as we've just been travelling down it, I cannot believe how smooth this ride is. Like, genuinely. I know you've got the automatic gearbox. Obviously, before we had with George was a manual, and that was, you know, relatively smooth car as well. But this, like, for what this car is supposed to be, it's incredibly smooth. What mode are you in at the minute? So
I'm in sport mode there, and all the videos I watched said if you want a car that you could be your daily driver, then like the sport mode is very much. I mean, it is quite low to the ground, and you can feel the bumps, but it's certainly a car you could drive every day without a problem.
Without having backache.
And then we've got the Sport Plus after that, and then track. And track's where you can really hear
everything tightens up.
It's a brilliant sound, and I think that's what cars are all about. You know, electric cars, etc. I know why they're doing it. But, you know, for me to have that
V8 burble and the pops and bangs. Oh, absolutely. And we're looking forward to hearing those pops and bangs in a little bit. But it's when you say about the sort of track mode and track feeling, as we know, we spoke about before, the 2006 sort of Aston Martin, it felt like it was a sense of occasion. It felt like it was a bit more spacious inside. This feels track focused, and like, we're not here to mess around today. Like, it feels like, I feel like I'm sitting quite close to you. Not like it's small or anything, but it's like very much like, no, we're out to race today. Do you kind of get that vibe yourself? Yeah,
I think it's got the best of both worlds. Like I say, it's got that. You go out, and a lot of the time, I think it was George who said on the other video, you don't realise, but you're not going that fast. There's a lot of times I'm actually like, you know, you look at your speedometer and you think you're going faster than you are. But then, like, when you want to sort of put your foot down, you know, it's got that supercar track type sort of feeling to it.
Well, it's really because you don't, in all fairness, you don't really see this model of car around. And obviously, you know, as soon as I saw it, it was just, you know, like I say, and again, this is something that we touched on with George, that you see Porsches all the time, you know, especially in this industry, you know, you do see them a lot, and you know, I don't think you see the Vantage enough, and I think it's definitely got a lot more road presence, even like, you know, as with the new model, it's definitely got, I think, a lot more presence to it.
Yeah, I think it suits different ages, doesn't it? It's you get a lot of people showing interest when out and about, obviously, and the range from the younger generation to the older, where, you know, they probably understand the history and how iconic the brand is more than probably I do.
Yeah. You can't not put a smile on your face, can you? So those who don't know, obviously before this iteration came out, Aston Martin had a V8 naturally aspirated engine. This has the German Mercedes AMG V8 5-litre V8 twin turbo, and there's definitely a difference in the engine, I think, from going from the two. As the other one was a bit more of a linear sort of like powertrain, like nice delivery. This one, like, as you said before, we're just in sport, was a bit more we're not here to mess around, let's get a shift on when you need to. I suppose that helps with the I think it's a Z4 gearbox. So how does that kind of, you know, how does the gearbox feel, the power delivery feel for yourself?
Yeah, no, lovely. I mean, like you say, I'll just switch in a second. I'll just change now. I don't know whether you can actually hear the change, but I'm going to go to Sport Plus. There's a little bit of a difference in the sound there. But then if I move to track now and we're going to that next piece of road, then you'll see a difference again. And I think it's just having that variety again.
Yeah.
So I put it in track now, you can see. So it turns red.
Oh. Massively. It's like almost very GTR-like.
Yeah.
Pops and bangs there. I love.
Fuel goes down a lot when you put it in.
I bet it does.
It's genuinely, it was the look of the car.
Yeah.
And I thought that's the car for me, without really like understanding the technicalities.
Well, I think this is the thing that, like, say, when you buy a car with your heart, I think it makes it more, you know, personable. You know, I get it. You know, there's people that want that are more like, you know, track-minded, race-minded, that go, you know, and it becomes so technical, especially like, you know, like the new GT3 RS. That's just like, you know, you can adjust, you know, all sorts of settings.
Yeah.
Like I say, people like you and me are just like, oh, I just want to look at it and go, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I get to drive this car.
Yeah.
And I think when you say you bought it with more of a heart and feeling, that's why you buy a car like this.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the looks of the car has always been over what the performance is. I don't know whether that will put me in a bit more of a minority in terms of sort of supercar owners, because I don't know whether. I
mean, how fast do you really need to go?
Yeah.
And you're the one who's got to spend the time in it and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I hear exactly what you're saying with, you know, how technical you want to be and how fast is what lap time. How often are you going to the track?
Yeah. Well, I haven't done that. Yeah.
How often are you hitting that 0 to 60 time? You know, how often are you even using the paddle shift gearbox?
Yeah.
You know
just
what I mean?
Put it in drive, not before. Yeah.
But it's like you say, it's how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you, like you say, that's why you buy it, especially when you buy an Aston Martin as well.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the exterior. What's your favourite part about how it looks?
I think it's what they call the black pack.
Yeah.
The side skirts.
Okay.
The front section. It's like a glossy black, and it really, really sets the car off. Obviously, the calipers are yellow to match the interior.
Well, you got the black wheels and the yellow calipers.
Yeah. So
it fits nicely with the China grey as well. I think that grey and black looks stunning.
Yeah, and do you know what, the colour? It's one of them where whichever, if it's in a different light, it looks like it's slightly.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
it looks like a light grey,
Yeah.
but then sometimes it looks quite a dark grey, depending on. It's got that sort of right there. But
you can't not. It can't not put a smile on your face, can it?
No.
So I think for me, with the styling wise, I really like the back with the quad exhaust and the rear diffuser, the way that kind of sits, and the angling of the lights sort of around the lip of the boot. I think looks absolutely stunning. Yeah, for me, that I like that bit, and it ticks every box. It's subtle. It looks stunning. The interior is really, really. Again, you know, it's very different to what the previous one that I managed to go into. It was very very simple.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on, but actually, you know, for those who can't see, there's park, reverse, neutral, drive, buttons to press, zero thinking, just click and play.
Yeah. And I think that got a lot of criticism in the videos that I was watching, because it's like sort of like buttons for this, buttons for that, too many buttons. But for me, it's simplistic. It's drive, park, reverse.
I mean, I know everything's going on touchscreen, but sometimes it can be a bit of a faff. At least with a button, you know it's going to work.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, just coming from Mercedes myself, this just coming from a Mercedes myself, this, you know, the center console with the dial feels very familiar.
Yeah.
How do you? So I know you came from a BMW i8. How does this kind of transfer across, as in like the differences and stuff?
Yeah, I think the i8 was more like a 3 Series type drive, you know, like a comfortable.
Yeah.
And it didn't really have that. What's that word? You know, that little bit of naughtiness in it, where you can hear the. It did actually have the engine noise echoed through the speakers, but that was obviously artificial.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. Yes, there is a definite difference between the sort of first rendition of the V8 Vantage to this one, because obviously I know you've got like the gearbox is immediate, but the power is also like immediate. Yeah, I'm not saying the other one, like say, very linear, very tame to a degree, but obviously it was there when it started hitting that rev range. But this just feels like it's just as soon as you plant that foot down, it's immediate. But I suppose, like you say, that's what you want with a car of this sort of caliber, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny because there's certain times you go out and you're just very relaxed and you drive it so carefully, so sensibly, and then there's times where you're just in the mood that you want to, within the sort of law and all of that sort of stuff. But there's times where you just want to have that little bit of
of course. How does it handle? I suppose that's the real thing, because we did have a nice bit of country lane driving back there, and it seemed to be, again, super smooth.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's funny, when you're driving slowly and you're doing like a full turn. It's quite bumpy.
Okay.
If you're going slow, but when you're actually on the road and you hit the corners and stuff, it handles really well.
So what I'm hearing is you've got to drive it fast for it to be smooth.
Yeah.
Which I suppose kind of, it makes sense. But I think, like you say, it must be amazing to be in that position where you've got yourself to where you are, to have the Aston Martin. I know you were saying you had a company for 11 years.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing, so where did that all kind of come from, that kind of drive to, when we spoke earlier, you talked about going your own way, and now seeing, like I said, the fruits of your labour. So what was the story behind the eventuality of owning this car?
Yeah, so I mean, in 2009 I set up my first business. So, and I ran that all the way through to 2020, where I sold the company. So when I started, it was just me from my spare bedroom. Had to borrow some money from the bank. Had to borrow some money from a couple of friends. Didn't really have any money behind us.
Yeah.
And the best thing I could describe it as like an apprenticeship in learning business.
Right.
Because I made so many mistakes. But do you know what? It sounds cliche, but you learn from your mistakes as you go. And you go through all sorts of experiences, you know, very big highs. We won some big contracts with the NHS, local councils. We went from being a supplier to a manufacturer.
Yep.
So we had a manufacturing plant in Sunderland, where we used to manufacture the medical devices. We had an online store, so we sort of diversified into e-commerce. So all of them things really was just one big learning curve, and I think that's, you know, we did really well. We grew the company. We had like 30 staff at one point. We were distributing, exporting across the globe. But it all sounds really sort of, and it is great to be able to tell this story.
Yeah.
But it was bloody hard work.
No, of
so hard work, and there was times where, on numerous occasions, where I was thinking, is it worth it? Is it too much? Is it too much stress? But I think that's the thing. I just had that in me when the chips were down, to get up the next day and say, right, no, I'm not going to give in. I'm going to do it. So I think, sort of back to your question, you know, when we eventually sold the group, it was during COVID, so we couldn't really do that much.
Yeah, of course.
So it was actually nice to be forced to take some time out with the family. But that soon became the sort of itchy feet, and I was starting looking at what I could do. You know, I could spend some of the money on, and a nice car, supercar, was something I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And it is a nice little reminder when you get in and you do things like this, that sort of hard work does really pay off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does, and I think that's something I always try and share with as many people as possible. I'm now mentoring a few younger entrepreneurs, and it's that hard work that I try and sort of instill in them and in my own kids as well. You know, it is, again, I don't want to talk in too many cliches, but it's like, if you do good for somebody, it always comes back.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, I was telling you offline, the guy who loaned me some money to start the company, and he said literally, pay me back, give us a bit extra, but do it for somebody else one day. And hopefully I'm doing a bit of giving back now by doing my mentoring and helping people in different ways. I think if you can, whatever you do, you can find something you're passionate about, you're halfway there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I think that's a really nice kind of way to kind of, you know, bring this video in, really. Yeah, it's definitely really, really nice. And a huge success story. So, you know, congratulations on your success, my man. And thank you for this opportunity as well to be out and about in it. It's to be out in an Aston Martin of the 2006 era to on now. You know, it's a huge thanks to both you and George for the opportunity.
And I think we're going to give you a go as well.
Oh no!
You have to do a valuation at the end.
Oh no! I mean, I'm no Jeremy Clarkson, that's for sure. But I'll do my absolute best. So I think we'll wrap that there. Get ready for the handover and for me to sit in the hot seat and have a go myself. So watch out for that one. Right, so here we are. I'm in the hot seat. This is an absolute first, and thank you for having this level of trust in me for this. So you're going to have to talk me through this. Foot on the brake?
Yeah.
Drive?
Yeah. The handbrakes on the right hand side, there's a little toggle switch.
Got you. So I suppose keeping with tradition of the V8, they've got the handbrakes on the right hand side down here.
Right.
Which was like, that completely threw me off as well. I think it did for George when he first got in. So it's usually a handbrake down here, but very
a little toggle switch.
Yeah, just like on a lot of Mercedes cars actually, it's just down here. And away we kind of.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Kind of go.
So we're going to go straight over at the roundabout.
Here we go.
And then see where it says S.
Yep.
If you wanted to, you can just change it. One press to Sport Plus, one press to Track.
Okay.
It'd be worth you just seeing the feeling the track.
Okay. I'm just gonna make sure it's completely calm. Let all the traffic past, because I do not want to. Did you think it was ever quite squirrely at all? Did you ever feel like the back end's coming out?
No, I think there's just one time where I have pushed it and it sort of slipped a little bit.
Oh,
you know,
really?
where you think, but I'm not that experienced in terms of like the driver.
It's a very interesting steering wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like classed as, I think, it's like the sports steering wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
The other ones, because I think the one that you were in, it was a bit more round.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know what shape you would even call this. Oh, I see what you mean. That little bit of, I mean, to be honest, that was only going up to like 3.5 RPM.
Yeah.
I know they were talking about it feeling like a bit of a barge type thing, and it was quite big. But to be honest with you, it feels, I don't know the best way to describe this really. It doesn't feel as big as it's made out to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I've never felt that. I think it's quite compact, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely, like, I see exactly what you mean. You could literally just sit here like this, coffee in hand.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a little bit too easy to drive. With the other one, it felt like you were really like kind of
driving
aware. Yeah. Whereas, like you say, this just feels, as you say, well, I could just sit here and just. I
think that's what suits me best, because I'm not used to driving in that way.
Yeah.
I'm used to just having your usual nice sort of car where you can relax in it, and I think that's what suits me. Where I think I've not really straight down. I've not really been in a Ferrari or Lamborghini, but I would imagine it's a bit more of a sports track car.
Well, also as well, it doesn't, like I say, again, super comfortable. Like, I don't feel like my back's in clip. Again, I know there's been, again, complaints about visibility, but to be honest with you, this pillar here, I mean, my C-Class is a lot thicker. You know, the pillar here, the visibility is fantastic. It's quite clear out the back, out of that rear view mirror. So all these reviews that were saying, oh, there's no visibility in this, I was like, I don't really see it myself. Unlike, I'll be honest, George's one, there wasn't much visibility at the back, in all seriousness. But with this one,
there's nothing, for me, there's nothing I don't like about it. It's everything.
I actually quite like this interior. I really like the interior. I know that, like I say, there was a lot of complaints about all this. Yeah. But genuinely, no complaints at all. It's a really, really, really nice place to be. I definitely think the option of the leather interior on top rather than the Alcantara was definitely the way forward. I think, like you say, when you pick your options that you wanted, you've absolutely picked the ideal spec. I would probably say you picked the perfect spec for this. The grey, the black with the yellow. It all
I think
works
it's
nicely.
been a good investment as well, because I think everybody who sees it, the first thing they see is, oh my god, the spec on this car is beautiful. And I think obviously if you want to set yourself apart, if I do go to sort of move the car on, it's got to be. Oh, I mean, it's got to be it's got to be sort of stand out.
I don't think you'll have any trouble selling this. So no trouble whatsoever. Absolutely not. You know, we're driving through CM now. You can see people just like looking, seeing it. Like you say, just like the other one before. There's just so much presence about it, and as we said, well, looking down that Aston Martin badge when you're driving it, you must feel like $1 million.
It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
As a supercar, in comparison to, like, I suppose anything I've been in, I honestly thought it was going to be a bit more like, oh my god, I just feel. But generally, it just feels like it's well built, and you can just get in it and just, like say, coffee here. One arm in it down the road and just enjoy the drive for what it is. If you want to drive it slow, you can. You want to drive it fast, it will let you do it. I suppose that's what you want, especially when you're not using the paddle shifts. Well,
I mean, I don't do it that much now, but I used to do a lot of longer journeys with the football. Going to watch football players play at different parts of the country, and I could imagine myself just jumping in this and going down to Stoke, going down to London even. I could, it wouldn't be that much of a chore, would it?
No, absolutely. And heated seats as well, an absolute must-have.
To be honest, I didn't even realise I had them until you pointed out.
Oh really? No way.
Probably because I've only had it in the
summer. I suppose it'll come handy in the winter time, won't it? Oh man alive, and then left interior, isn't it? Brilliant. Oh wow! Well, I tell you what, mate, I really appreciate you you letting me drive this back. I can't thank you enough.
Oh no,
what an
you're
experience!
welcome. Thanks for the opportunity to take me out, and yeah, it's been good.
Just pop it in here. Too easy. Bit of round town driving, bit of speed.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Good stuff.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. There he is. Right, David, mate, thank you so much for that experience. Incredible car. Verdict, I suppose. So what's your thoughts on the car yourself?
Yeah, no, absolutely love it. Nice to go out and show it off a little bit. And yeah, just when you look at it, you can see it's just a little bit special when it comes to the colour, the wheels. So it's something I'm very proud of, and yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it, and good to get to meet you.
One thing though, if people want to find out more about you and what you do and your company, where can they find you?
Probably start with Instagram, David Lynch on Instagram. Also on Twitter, David Lynch _. But yeah, great to connect, and send us a DM if anything is of interest.
So this or a Porsche?
This, 100%, yeah.